in the book. This was the first time that I have written about my abuse, and that experience in my life and the attempted suicide. Like, also, this is the first time I've put it down in words. I realized in writing it was there was still more residue of healing that needed to happen. I'll give you the motto that I live by, and it's be proof of what's possible. Any and everything that you want also wants you. We have to change this, and everything else will fall into alignment with our beliefs.
So you think that we attract both bad and good things in our lives? Are we in full control of what is happening to us?
Yes.
Hello and welcome to Ego Was Here. Today I'm joined by Havilah Malone, an award-winning actress, best-selling author, and transformational leader whose mission is to inspire millions to unlock their true power. Hello, Havilah.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me here.
Happy to have you here. As I told you, I have so many questions to ask you. You've lived so many lives already, like child prodigy, corporate leader, actress, author. If you look back, what do you see as the moment that truly changed everything for you?
The moment that truly changed everything. You know, even like all the accomplishments that I've had up until this point, and it's been extraordinary. Like, you're absolutely right. I've lived many lives in this one. I feel like this is an old soul that has come here, for a very specific purpose, which is to be a catalyst for positive change in over 2 billion people's lives. And so my trajectory has moved very, very quickly. But I feel like the most incredible, impactful, life-shifting move for me, two things come to mind. One was after I had gone to Tony Robbins' Unleash the Power Within, the UPW event. And
Mhm.
at that event, I had the opportunity, I walked on fire. Like, I literally physically walked on fire. And it was in that event that I had so many breakthroughs that just showed me there was a new path that was available to me. There was power that was within me that I hadn't fully tapped into, that was
Mhm.
available to me. And it was like, if I can do this, what else can I do that I've been holding back on? And that really helped to start my healing journey. It helped to start to unlock, some of the gifts that had always been there, but were buried and pushed down because of unresolved trauma, from childhood and things of that nature. So I feel like that opening really set me on a whole new path, a new trajectory in my life. And
Mhm.
then the second, I'll say, like, awakening moment or really big shift for me was when I decided to be true to myself and my own spiritual path. And I left from the religious organization that I grew up in, that my and I lost everything. Like, I lost my I was excommunicated. My family no longer talked to me. Like, I lost a lot of
Wow,
friends,
that was
but
a
I
big
gained
change.
myself. Yeah.
Yeah. S-
Mhm.
At just 21, you were already managing a major division at Hewlett Packard. So
Yeah.
on the outside, that looked like success, but what was happening inside you at that time?
Yeah. I mean, I like I said, my life has moved like pretty quickly. Like, I graduated from college at 19. By 21, I was managing a $160 million technology business. And I mean, I was on this, roller coaster of, right, on paper, I was super successful, and I was enjoying the journey, but it got to a point where I was on this path, and it's like like, we're supposed to get lessons in life, and
Mhm.
once you get the lesson, you're supposed to move on to the next journey, the next lesson, and I got stuck in the identity of being, like, Miss HP because I was their representative also on, like, the Home Shopping Network and QVC, so I represented them on television, and I was so disconnected at that time from who I really was that it was like this title, this identity is what I am, and without that, I'm nothing. So
Mhm.
I need to hold on to this for as long as possible, even though I'm now uncomfortable. I'm no longer happy. I'll wake up in the morning and I'm having to put the smile on to go out to do the things that I'm supposed to do because this path, like the things I was supposed to get out of that experience, I had gotten them and it was time for me to graduate and move on to utilize, to grow, to continue to grow and to utilize my skills in other areas. But I was like stuck. And I know this, like this is my comfort zone, and we can get comfortable in discomfort. We
Yes.
get
Yes.
real comfortable in discomfort. And my parents, like my family, my friends, they were like, "You better not leave that good job," you know? And so it was like all this pressure of, I got a good thing, so let me just stay here, even
Yeah.
though my purpose was calling, my path was calling. And it was like, no, I need you to move on to the next thing I need you to accomplish. And so I'll say that the universe, God, whatever you want to call that, higher power, it helped me by laying me off. Like our entire division got laid off after nearly a decade of me working with this company. And it was the best thing that could have happened because I would have probably never left. I would have just continued to crumble and die a little bit every day in that space when it was like, no, I got a world available to you and ready for you, but I need you to leave from this and move on to the next thing. And so I got pushed out of the nest.
Which is
And
scary.
good.
It's very
Yeah.
scary when it happens.
Start absolutely, because there's it's like it's so funny the saying it says the one thing that is certain in life is change, and that's the one thing we try to avoid. Like we want everything like to know from A to
Yes.
B to C what's going to happen, and that's not where growth is. That's not where the beauty of the unfoldment of life happens, in our certainty in everything. What we can be certain of, and this is something that I've embraced over the years, what I am certain of is that my journey ends in success. My journey ends in victory, period. So right now, all I am doing is being able to watch the replay in reverse because it's going to end in success no matter what it looks like. So
Yeah.
now that like allows the anxiety, the uncertainty to kind of settle a little bit. And it's like, okay, even if this thing takes a turn and it wasn't a turn I was expecting and it doesn't look like it's working out for me, I didn't book the job. I didn't, get
Mhm.
the promote whatever it is, but that's still life working out for me. I can't see it yet. I don't know how this all unfolds, but I know it ends in success. So let me just keep walking and taking each step along the way until I get to the success because that's what's for me. That's my birthright.
Yes, yes. But, I mean, the fear of unknown, like,
Mm.
is really difficult, and, most people want to know what is going to happen the next day, and after that, yeah, and I'm one of them, and I think that my anxiety is mostly, a fear of what might happen, in the future. So but
Well,
that
I'll
is
I'll say
what
this.
keeps you stuck.
Um, Joel Osteen, he said this quote that like has really stuck with me and helped me a lot to cope with that uncertainty. And he said that faith and fear require the same thing, a belief in something that has not yet happened yet. So why
Yeah.
not use faith?
Yes. Yes. Wow, that
You
that
don't
is
know either way, whether it's going to be good, whether it's going to be bad. And even quote unquote bad, everything is just information. It's just
it
information.
I interpret the information. Mm.
We give meaning to it. We are
Yes.
the meaning makers. So I can look at that information and say, okay, that person betrayed me. All right.
Mm.
That that gives me information of I need to like disconnect from that individual and no longer have them that close in my life. Yes, that may hurt, but it's information and it's valuable information. I'd rather you show me who you are so that I can make the adjustment to be able to do what's right for me along my path. It's just information that allows me to make decisions. That's
Mhm,
it.
mhm.
And when we
Have
see everything that way, it helps us to walk this path a little bit lighter, a little bit easier, you
mm,
know?
yes, yes. You've spoken about your experiences with abuse.
Yeah.
Um, how did those early wounds shape the way you saw yourself, and how did you begin to rewrite that story?
Mm. That was such a significant piece of my, journey, especially being, molested in my youth from, close family member. Um, it made me believe things about myself that were not true. There was like so much shame and guilt, and I played so small for so long because it was like if people really saw me and they knew this thing about me, then they would reject me. They would, look down upon me because I look down upon myself. And so it really even I mean, it would go so far, like, my self-image was so low at one point that even when I would go to brush my teeth, I would not look at myself in the mirror. I would literally look down because I hated what I saw, and the script that was running in my head about myself was so negative, and it's so important what we say about ourselves, what we feed back into our own consciousness and our own ears, because that will shape our reality. And I was so hard on myself and so negative to myself. And it wasn't until I started my self healing journey and started working with different tools like neuro linguistic programming.
Mhm,
I started working with plant medicines. I started, actually speaking out because I was also holding all of that in. Like nobody knew, and I didn't believe that anybody would even believe me. So I just like held all of that inside of me, and it was eating me up. And when I did start to speak up for myself and learned how to speak to myself, like, it took me a while to be able to say, like, "I love you," or
mm,
that I was lovable, but I would make myself look at myself in the mirror, and I would say, "I love you. You're beautiful." And when the words first started coming out, like, I didn't believe them. Like, it was just like it was words. But it's autosuggestion. Anything you repeat and affirm enough times with repetition, with feeling, will then go into your unconscious mind and become a belief for you. It becomes the truth for you. And so now I could easily look at myself and be like, girl, you are gorgeous. Like, I love you. You're amazing. You're
you are.
intelligent. You're powerful. Like, I can receive that now because I have reprogrammed my own mind and my own consciousness, and my life experience now reaffirms that. So
Mm,
everything is an inside out job. Everything.
everything. And do you think that those deeply rooted beliefs are easy to for someone to change them? And how long does somebody need in order to change those narratives and those beliefs? Because
Mm,
I've been a victim of abuse, and I think that for me, it's always when I get those panic attacks, I feel like I'm returning back to that person that was going through that abuse at that time. And I feel that feeling, my body responds to the trauma always in the same way. So, and how can you change that? Because I've tried a lot of techniques, to try and cope with my anxiety, but I don't know what am I doing wrong, or if if I'm broken and I
yeah.
cannot be fixed.
Mm,
Because I'm sure that there are a lot of people out there that have been through. I
certainly.
mean, yeah.
Certainly. There's more of us than not who have been through horrific experiences, traumatic experiences, and those do take a toll. It takes a toll on your psyche, on your belief system about yourself. It takes a toll on your physical body. There is like I am currently healing from I have fibroids in my uterus that have grown over time, and what I am being able to now reconnect that to is that trauma that happened, in my life. And your body, like disease and trauma will show up in your body as well. And so now I am doing the work to be able to not only feed my body the things that it needs to thrive and be healthy, but also start to give love to that root chakra, to the sacral system within myself, to my uterus. Because for a long time, I was very disconnected from my body. Like I could very easily disassociate
Mhm,
with my
mhm.
physical body, and a lot of the work that I was doing was, like, mental work, but not physical work because I did not feel comfortable in my skin and in my, like, physical form, and
Uh-huh.
so it's like I've done now the mental work of healing and, like, the mindset stuff, but I'm like, "Now it's time for me to love on this physical form and give my body what it needs so that we can connect and heal all the parts of me," because it takes all of this to have this human experience. Um,
Yes.
and I just wanna affirm for you, no, you are not broken. You are you are whole and complete. You're perfect in every way. Our minds are so powerful and our bodies are so attentive to what it is that we go through that it responds in ways to try to protect us. And so we learn strategies of protection, whether that's to retreat, whether that is to like shut down. And sometimes those strategies help us at one point in our lives, but they no longer serve us because we're not in the immediate danger anymore. So it's like I don't need to respond this way, but now the programming is in me to respond this way. So I keep going back to that same programming over and over again. And so there are powerful tools that are available to be able to help to rewire that programming. And like I said, for me, NLP or neuro linguistic programming was such a powerful tool in helping to go in to literally rewire my neural pathways so that the response that I would normally take, of like shutting down or holding back or like being silent. Oh my God. Like there was so many times I was like, I needed to speak up for myself and I wouldn't. I was just shut down. And
Yes.
even rewiring that where now if there's some injustice that's happening or some place where I need to like step into my power, I can do that now where I was not able to in the past. And so tools like that, as well as for me, ayahuasca. So plant medicines have been extremely beneficial along my path of healing and revealing to me things that I needed to work on and new perspectives that made allowed me to forgive in the cases of what I've been able to go through, and not only forgive like my abuser but also to forgive myself.
Yourself. I think that's the hardest part sometimes.
Oh my, and that's the most important piece,
Mm.
is us giving ourselves permission to release and let these things go, because it's not our burden to carry. It's not. And especially as women, a lot of times we will carry even more because we're programmed to believe that as a woman, you got to hold it down for everybody. You got to give everybody, grace and take it all on to yourself. And it's like, hold up, but I'm a human being too,
Yeah.
and I deserve this grace and love too. And so I got to first give it to myself. And once you are feeding yourself that way, the rest of the world responds. The rest of the world will show up the way you show up for you. So
Mm.
it's always an inside out job, and it is about finding the tools that work best for the individual. People will ask me like, "Oh, well, should I do ayahuasca?" Well, if you feel called to that tool, Absolutely. If you
Right.
don't feel called to that tool, then no, you have to find what you feel called to. For some people, that's talk therapy. For some people, that's cognitive behavioral therapies. For some people, it's tapping or EFT. So it's like about finding the tool that you are feeling
That works
called to.
best.
Yes, and that will work best for you. But I will say for me,
Mhm.
NLP, the neuro linguistic programming, and plant medicine has been a significant tool on my healing journey, and it takes time.
It
And
takes
so give
time. Mhm.
ourselves grace. Yes. Mhm.
Can you tell us, 'cause we always, that term NLP, 'cause
Yeah.
I cannot say, you have to say it to pronounce it. But can you explain what does that mean exactly? Like,
Yeah.
what is that technique?
So NLP is neuro linguistic programming. So basically, we have, like right now, as we're having a conversation, we are consciously aware that we're talking to each other, that we're doing a podcast, that people are going to be listening into this conversation. I'm conscious of the room that I'm in. I'm conscious that, like, my fingertips. We also have an unconscious awareness. And our unconscious mind control things like our breathing. You don't have to think about breathing. It just
Yes.
happens automatically.
Mhm,
Your belief systems are actually held in your unconscious mind. So you're not even consciously aware of some of the things that you believe about yourself and the world and how things work because it's in your unconscious awareness.
mhm.
And so, what NLP does, because a lot of times what people, their first line of response is like, okay, well, I'll do use affirmations. Like I'm gonna just say positive things every single day, and that's what's gonna change. Well, that's gonna take a longer period of time to make that change because you're doing it consciously. You're speaking the language of the conscious mind. The unconscious mind speaks a different language.
Mm,
NLP, which was developed by Dr. Richard Bandler and Virginia Satir, they worked with some of the people who had like the worst cases of like psychological traumas, things that they were dealing with in their lives that even majority of medical professionals like we can't do anything with them.
mhm.
But what they did was reverse engineer how extremely successful people were able to get results so quickly and then reverse engineered that process and then applied that to other individuals who were, having really severe cases. And so
Oh,
they were able to unearth the language of the unconscious mind. So now with NLP, you get to speak directly to the unconscious mind in its language so it can pick up that reprogramming command immediately. You can literally make changes in minutes where you could sit on a couch for 30 years talking about it and it never really make significant changes where in a matter of minutes you can make changes using NLP. So it goes in and rewires your neural pathways. So now say you looked at a situation that happened in your life and you saw it as like this was a horrific situation. It was traumatic. This is how I reacted to this. Now you're able to go above that. I'll say like the timeline of your life. Go
mhm.
above that, look at it from a different perspective, find the beauty in the situation because there's beauty in everything, even in pain. Find
Yes,
that and then rewrite the story all the way now to today. So your reaction to it is different, your association to it is different, your belief about it is different, and you show up differently.
yes. And you talk about, unlocking intuitive genius. What
Mm,
does that mean in everyday life?
yes. We are so, well, I'll start with this foundation. We are spiritual beings having a human experience.
Mhm. Yes, I believe that.
This is a this meat suit that we get to walk this planet in is just a vehicle to be able to house a spirit, to be able to house a entity within us. This is what allows us to breathe and experience life.
Yes.
So this physical manifestation of what we are is not who we are in our entirety, in our completeness. It's a piece of what we are. It's an iteration of what we are. So from that baseline understanding, we have access to greater information than our education. We have access to greater information than what our surroundings tell us or what we've been told. We have infinite access to infinite intelligence. So a lot of times we're being guided or told, and a lot of us receive this. You may have heard of like clairs. So like clairaudience,
Mm. Yes,
uh,
yes.
clairvoyance,
Clairvoyance.
clairgoustiance. So there's different ways that we receive information. Um, and talk about in our solar plexus, like, oh, my gut, like, oh, in my gut, I just know something is off about that person. Or in my gut, like, it's telling me I shouldn't go to this event tonight, you
Mhm.
know? So we have access to information. Often we are taught not to listen to it, not
Yes.
to
Yes.
connect with it. And so, about tapping into your intuitive genius is really a return home to your true self, a return home to your true access to knowledge, to information, to resources that are available to you. Because we are co-creating this experience of life. We are a part of it's life is not happening to us. It is happening through us and for us. So
Do you think
tapping
we attract everything?
yes, indeed, we're magnets. And our thoughts are a part of what magnetizes the physical experience to us. Because if I think every day, man, life is so hard, man, life is so hard, then life's like, okay, life is hard, great, then I'm gonna bring you circumstances that's gonna reaffirm those thoughts because that's what you're attracting to you. If I
Mhm.
say, man, life is full of opportunities, I get opportunities all the time, I'm telling you, opportunity just knocks at my door, my inbox will be filled with audition opportunities, for opportunities to go and speak, for amazing people like you who reached out to me to do this podcast. Like, opportunities literally knock at my door because that is what the thoughts that I am constantly sending out, and the like has to come back. It has to. That's the law.
Yes. And you were saying in one of your interviews about the vision boards you created many years ago. Tell me about that, because I have
Oh,
many questions. I have tried to make vision boards, but I'm doing something wrong. So
oh my God. So vision boards are so powerful. And here's the reason why. So our minds work in images. It works in pictures. So like even right now, if I say, oh, tell me, think about the juiciest, most delicious burger that you've ever had in life. Does a picture come to mind?
yeah.
Yes.
Hmm.
And so because our mind works in pictures, it can easily connect to information through images. So that's why the things that we want, that we desire in life, and it's good to be able to sit down and give yourself some time to just like imagine and dream, not about what I have access to or what I think I can do or what I think I have resources for. Mm-mm. What do you want? What do you
Yeah.
really want?
Yes.
And so as those images come to mind, and maybe and so like one of the things for me, that's on my, on my vision board, on my list of things that I will accomplish in life. Like for me, it's like it's a will. Uh, is to win a Nobel Prize. And to win a Nobel Prize for a significant enough contribution to the betterment of humanity to be deserving of such a prize. And so I have I'm looking at my vision board now. I was like, I have that Nobel Prize, on there. So now when I see that, like it lights me up. Like I get excited about it. And it reminds me of like, wow, when I'm going to have that in my hand. And so you want to put images on there that really light you up so that every time that you see this board, it brings you into a state of joy. It brings you into a state of joyful expectation of the things that you are bringing into your life, because all of it is possible. Anything we can set our mind to, we have the ability to accomplish. And so now this vision board just helps to keep it front and center so that we stay focused and that we stay ignited around the things that we want. Now, I'll say the way that it, quote unquote, can work against you is when you are looking at that vision board and there is a feeling of deficit. There's a feeling of like I want that, but I don't feel like I'm really gonna get it. Well, if it doesn't make you feel good and like that's the energy that you're putting out around that thing, that is pushing that thing away. So you want to feel good when you see these things.
But if you have those limiting beliefs, then it's really hard to keep that positive mindset and not feel the lack of the thing that you want to attract. So,
Mm.
do you first have to get rid of those limiting beliefs? Like,
I think something that you can work on while in the process of manifesting the things that you want. Absolutely. So, if first and foremost you've put images on there that light you up. Like it needs to be something that is exciting for you, that lights you up. And then so maybe those are the big goals. Like you have some big, aspirations and even that, even as those words just came out of my mouth, big and small is relative.
yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
We're meaning makers. We're the ones who are setting these like, "Oh, that's big and far away," or that's and I'll give you an example. So, my friend, it was like a week, maybe almost 2 weeks ago, a friend of mine sent me this video on Instagram, and the video was saying, most people have these like 10-year goals. Like you have this like thing that's like far out because you think it's so big that it's gonna
Mhm.
take you 10 years to do it.
Yes.
And he said, "Really, if you gave it focused, concentrated effort, you could probably accomplish that thing within 6 months to a year." He said, "So take whatever your 10-year goal is and go ahead and bring it to 6 months to a year and just watch what happens." And so I really sat with that and I was like, "Whoa." I said, he's absolutely right." I said, "Well, what's my like far out goal that I have put out there? Like, let me see if I can bring it in closer." And so it was the Nobel Prize. And so I made a decision that day. I said by September 30th of 2026, I will, that I'm being awarded a Nobel Prize. And so then
Yes.
my mind went to, well, when did they even award Nobel Prize? I was like, let me go look this up. So I go do the research and they award them on December 10th of every year. And they make the notification on the first week of October. And I was like, "Oh my God." And I literally set my date to be September 30th of 2026. So I was like,
Isn't that amazing?
right. Like literally. And so
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay, well, now that I've made this a year goal instead of this like 10-year out goal, what do I need to do and how do I need to focus my energies and efforts right now to make a significant enough contribution to the betterment of humanity to be deserving of that prize? And it started making me reorganize and reprioritize the things that I was doing so that I can start to make a bigger impact in this world in a positive way so that I can get my Nobel Prize in 2026.
Oh, yes, I'm sure you will. You have such a strong belief, and you're
Thank you.
such a charismatic person. Um, you know, I was thinking for those limiting beliefs, like, if they're rooted inside of you for so many years. Um, you always kind of think that it's hard because things happen in your life that usually, um, you know, are not always good. So it's hard to keep that positive vibe and mindset in order to feed yourself that positive energy. So what do you do when things get bad in life?
Yeah, and and I created a process to be able to help people to address not to one first unearth our negative limiting beliefs because a lot of times we it's such a habit for us that you don't even realize that you keep on reaffirming this stuff to
Mhm.
yourself or it's running as a script in the back of your mind. And so it's really important it says because you
You
can't
see, that's the reality, right? Like,
heal.
I'm gonna get rich because my family was, middle class, or, you have those, or I'm not so educated, or whatever. So you
Mhm.
those kind of beliefs that usually have that result, and you feel far away from your goal.
Yeah, absolutely. So this process that I created is called the power purge method, and it's literally 5 steps, and allows you to become the owner of your own mind. And that owner is actually the acronym that helps to walk you through the steps. And so the O is to observe, because you have to first unearth, almost like an archaeologist. Like, you need to unearth what those negative beliefs are that you have surrounding a subject. So let's take money for an
Yes,
example.
yes.
Yes. So you want to make those unconscious limiting beliefs conscious. So one of the things that you can do is, one, you can literally like pull out a piece of paper. You can ask yourself, what do I believe about money? And then whatever starts to come to your mind, start to write that down. And it could be like, money doesn't grow on trees. It might be that because my family didn't have money, I'm never gonna have a lot of money. Whatever it is, only bad people make a lot of money.
Yeah, yes.
Whatever it is, and you want to be an unbiased observer. So not judging yourself for what is coming up for you, but just as the thoughts are coming up for you, you're just like, interesting, okay, and you just write it down.
Mhm.
You want to capture it. So that's actually step 2, is to write. So to write every one of those thoughts that come up for you down on paper. And then, so that's the observe, then you write,
Write
and then
down.
you're going to create a new belief. So you're going to take out a separate piece of paper, and for every single belief that came out for you, every line that you wrote, you're going to write the opposite, because you're going to transmute that for yourself. So if
Mm,
you say money doesn't grow on trees, what's the opposite of that? It could be that money is abundant and available everywhere.
mhm,
That's a much more powerful belief than, "Oh, money doesn't grow on trees."
mhm.
Or, only, like, rich people are, stingy, or being rich makes me even more generous. So, for every single line that you wrote, that negative limiting belief, you're going to transmute that into a new positive power affirmation. And then it's the E, to eliminate. So you're going to take that list that you wrote of all the negative beliefs, and you're going to fold that up. You're going to thank it, because it actually did serve you in some way. It protected
Mhm.
for some point in your life. It just no longer serves you anymore for what you want. So you're gonna
Yes.
fold that up, and then if it's safe or you're in a safe environment to do it, you wanna burn that. Like, literally, like, set fire to it, burn it, whether in a container, if you have a fireplace, whatever. And if you don't have a safe place to actually burn it or do the fire ritual, you can literally just rip it up into shreds, as to smallest pieces as possible. You thank that, and you release it. You get rid of it. You eliminate that. And then the step 5 is to, recite. And so you take that new list of power affirmations that you wrote, those new beliefs that you wrote out, and every single day, morning and night, like when you first wake up in the morning, because that's when your mind is operating, I think it's at 20 wave cycles per second. So as you're
Mhm.
coming out of like delta, theta, alpha, and then we're into
Yes.
beta,
Mhm.
we our minds are in the most impressionable soon as we're waking up in the morning. So that's when you want to put in the good stuff, as much good stuff as possible right when you wake up. Not go to your phone, not go to the news. Put in your new affirmations, and you want to say them out loud with power and feeling, as if they are already done. And right before you go to bed, the same, as you're like going
Same.
down into
Mhm.
that sleep state, to reaffirm them. And you can say them throughout the day as well, but especially at those 2 times. And you're using auto suggestion, and over time you are recreating a new belief within yourself. So your association to money will start to change. These things will start to become your reality. And I know this because I have used this method. Like, I literally took what I knew from NLP, what I knew from other, tools. And I was like, I need something that could be quick and easy that I can do myself, to be able to help in different situations, in different categories of my life where I still need further work. And like, my beliefs about money now are so different from my beliefs about money. And money flows to me. Like, money flows to me easily. And I'm like, and money loves me. Like, and I love it. Like
Yes.
we have a really good relationship with each other now. And I know that money is nothing but energy. And that energy is to help me to more fulfill my purpose in life and enjoy life.
Yes, yes.
Because what else are we here for other than to be able to enjoy this iteration of life? So this process of becoming the owner of your own mind, so to observe, to write the new belief, to eliminate the old one and recite your new one will help to program those limiting beliefs that you're speaking about.
Havilah, so you think that we attract both bad and good things in our lives? Are
We attr-
we in full control of what is happening to us?
yes. And
Right?
when you say full control, so we have programmed beliefs that have come from childhood, religion, experiences, society. So there are things that are programmed in there that we heard growing up that now is just a part of our fabric and makeup. And those beliefs, they're like magnets. They bring in because everything has to reaffirm your belief. Your experience is like it's a mirror. And it's the law of correspondence. If you talk about universal laws, as above, so below,
So
as
no, as
within,
within,
so
so
out.
yeah. Okay.
Yes. So
Perfect.
what is happening on our internal reality or our internal belief has to be reflected in our external experience. So we are calling in the experiences that we have in life. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And we can switch that if this doesn't serve us. If the experience that we're having doesn't align with what we actually want, we can switch those beliefs to get a different experience. But the work is always inside out.
So do you think that also everything like disease and everything that happens to our physical body is because we've attracted it?
So it's interesting. Okay. So disease, if you break down that word,
Is.
dis-ease.
Uh-huh.
Yes. A lot of times the things that show up in our physical body start from a mental space. And so unresolved issues, a lot of stress, trauma will show up in the body. As I was sharing earlier, what I'm dealing with now with now
So
doing
is
the
it
work to heal.
trapped energy? Is it like trapped energy, negative?
Mm. Yes. Everything is energy. Everything is energy and frequency. You
Mhm.
got that from Nikola Tesla, you've got that from Albert Einstein, like, and it's been tested and proven over and over scientifically and even biblically when you read into scriptures. uh, everything is energy. Absolutely.
So
And we also have the ability to heal the dis-ease that is within our bodies. And I have worked with some extraordinary tools from like Qigong, which is so when you talk about chi, which is like life force energy, but it's knowledge, energy, and matter, and utilizing the combination of those three to be able to move energy through our body, through the universe, whatever. But you can use that to move blocked matter, whether it be tumors, whether it be, fibroids, whether it be cancerous cells. You can use that energy to eliminate these things from your body. Like, it's been done and documented time after time. And I think for the most part, like, traditionally, we're not told about these things because we have this traditional system of like healing. You go to the doctor, get surgery, you take medication. It's like there's so much in nature and so much from our intuitive ancestral knowledge that is
Mhm.
available to us to be able to heal ourselves, to bring ourselves into a state of wholeness that we are not typically taught or don't or not aware of that's available to us. But we are so much more powerful than we're given credit for.
Yeah.
So much more powerful.
And I think now we have, and all the information, uh, because of the internet, it's easier, to because in the past, all those things were kept a secret, but now it's easier. You have more access to
Yes,
all
you
the
can connect with people around the world. Like, I mean, I'm in LA right now, you're in
I
Greece.
mean, it's
We're able to, like, connect and have this conversation and share tools and share information with each other, and it's really about, like, finding 'cause there we live in the information age, so there's so much, information that's out there, and so sometimes it is, like, narrowing down to, like, okay, well, what is, actuality? What is some, like,
Mhm.
BS? Like, what should I trust? What should I not trust? And I think that's why it's important to, like, have communities of like-minded, expansive-minded people who are not only doing the work. So it's not like, oh, you just talking about this thing. You're doing the work and you're working with people who are doing the work so that I know this is a trusted source. These are people who have gotten results. So I know, like, when I joined Tony Robbins' Platinum Partnership, which is like a small group of people who travel around the world with Tony for a year and like learn from his, close associates and like very high achievers. And I knew I needed this community because I'm like, I am surrounded by people who like I'm the one always pouring into. And I was like, I need people who can pour into me. I need people who have way
Or
more expanded minds than I do so that I can keep on stretching and growing and seeing what's possible. Like there were some of these tools that I didn't even know existed until I was in community with people who were on that path and doing those things. And I'm like, wait, what? You could do what? Like even when I was introduced to NLP, like the friend of mine who explained it to me, I was like, wait, what? You could move things with your mind? Like what? But I trusted her enough to go to the course, and then I ended up becoming a master certified practitioner of it because I found the tools to be so powerful and so transformational. I was like, "Heck yes, I need to learn this. I need to use this in my life. Like, this will change my life." And it did.
have you experienced, like, have you seen any huge transformation to someone that you were able to help? Or what was his, problem
Yeah,
or belief that he
certainly.
had to change?
So I used to, which I don't personally anymore, but I used to like work one-on-one doing like breakthrough sessions with clients. And one young lady in which I know I can share her experience. Um one young lady who was dealing with like lack of self-confidence. So it was like and someone who was extremely talented, extremely intelligent, had like so if you sat down and spoke with her, like the knowledge that she had the ability to share was like profound. It was like people need to know this. Like you need to share this more widely. Like write a book or like do a podcast or do a like do something like where you need to like open your throat chakra and share these things. But there was a block there and not wanting to be seen and like
Mm.
just really like playing small. And so we did a breakthrough session around embodying that self-confidence. And she has since, like, she has not only done a show, which is like available on YouTube, but she also released a book that became a number one bestseller. And
Uh,
so I was just so proud of like, because one, we have to be willing participants in our own healing.
mm,
It's our journey. And we have the ability to do it, but sometimes people hold on to the story of the trauma and the things that happened around it because there's ancillary benefit from doing so, whether that's being able to tell that story and get sympathy from other people so you get community around trauma.
yes,
um
yes.
so there are things that sometimes your unconscious mind's like, oh, well, I don't want to let that go because there is some benefit in holding on to this. But when you're truly ready to let go and step into your full power and be that healed version of yourself, that's available to you too. You just have to make the decision. And once you've made the decision, the tools that you need will show up. The people that you need will
Oh,
show up.
mhm.
And the results are real.
Yes. And how do you distinguish between the voice of your ego and the voice of your truth?
Mm. You know what? For me, um, I'll say how I can distinguish, or the feeling of it is different. My intuition, it's a call and a pull. My ego, it's a push. Like
Mhm.
it's a
Yes.
force, it's a push. Like it's a very different in like texturally, it is distinguishable for me when it is like intuition and no, because I literally, it's almost like there's a string here and I feel like called to it, like I am being pulled there. And when it's my ego, I'm pushing my way in, and I was like, "Girl, because when I don't listen to my intuition, I I deal with the consequences of it. Because it will not work out, like, or there'll be a lot of, anguish around it, it'll be a lot of work around it, like, I
Mhm.
gotta put in a lot of effort when it's my ego, and then it don't work out anyways. But when it's intuition and it's my calling, it happens effortlessly. Like,
Mm.
literally, when I listen and obey what I'm being told to do. So even if it's, like, to make a phone call, and I'm like, "Ooh, okay, I need to make that call." And then when I don't make that call, I deal with the consequences. When I do make the call, I get the benefit. And so I feel like that has been one of my biggest lessons in this life, is learning to listen to my intuition and do what it's telling me to do, because I always benefit. And when I resist it and I don't do it and I'm like, "No, my educated mind is telling me I should do this instead," my push, it doesn't work out for me. And I'm
Mm.
like, you've had enough of these experiences to know now for sure that you just need to trust the process and trust what is coming through you, because that's coming from infinite intelligence, and it's giving you, or trying to give you, what you've asked for. You didn't ask for this. So it's trying to give it to you, and here are the actions that you need to take to be able to get it.
Yes, yes. So when you create, whether it's a book, a film, do you
Mm.
see it as art, therapy, or both?
Oh my god, it's all of that. Like, even this latest book that, The Power of Inner Sparkle, that just came out, which was, Jack Canfield, the Chicken Soup for
Yes,
the
yes,
Soul
yes.
series, so that publisher worked with, Heart and Soul Publishing, because they wanted to do a women's empowerment series, and so there's 12 authors who all came to bring their stories to this, particular book. And so when I was writing that chapter, in the book, this was the first time that I have written about my abuse, and that experience in my life, and the attempted suicide. Like, also, this is the first time I've put it down in words. Like, I've talked about it in interviews, but I've never written about it before. And it was like the one of the most therapeutic experiences, because it was like, what I realized in writing it was there was still more residue of healing that needed to happen. Like, I was like, man, I thought I dealt with all of this, I thought, I was, past all this, and I was like, why is all of this emotion coming up, and I'm resisting finishing this chapter, like, I don't want to, like, write this down. And then it was just like, oh wow, the very thing that you don't want to do is the very thing that you need to do.
You need to do.
The
Mhm.
very thing, and I knew that, so I was just like, "Okay, Havilah, you have to work through this, because the fact that you're resisting it is because this is the thing that needs to happen for your next breakthrough." And
Yes.
so it became therapy for me in that way, that me, like, staying true to the path and just trusting this process, and doing, like, writing it down, allowed me to, like, heal another layer of that within myself, and release more of that experience within myself. And now it's down in writing, and like the book has gone, it went to number one 23 times across 4 countries in like different categories. Like, it's been helping so many people around the world. And it's like, wow. So in that way, I feel like it has become a piece of art, because it is now inspiring other people, with the things that they're going through, and knowing that they're not alone, and
Mm.
knowing that their
So
story has
important.
value, that they can share their story and not hide. Because like, I was raw and like real and vulnerable. I didn't hold back details like at all, in sharing this. And I think that level of just, like, authenticity and letting the curtain down also gave other people permission to just, like, not hold their, stories or stuff in either
Yes.
anymore.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, because I think that the victims of abuse have this mix of shame and guilt and pain, and and it's hard to let go. And is there any belief that you're still trying to get rid of? Do you have any stubborn belief?
Oh, the thing it's so funny because I literally had this conversation yesterday. So, with a marketing coach that I'm working with, so because we're working on, an online program that I'm gonna be releasing soon, and she literally told me, she was like, what was the phrase she used? Is, something like, "A messy start is better than not starting at all," or something
What's
like that, and I was just like, because I'm a recovering perfectionist, and that too stems from, like, the trauma and the abuse and me, like, having to feel like, "Okay, I need to be perfect in everything
yes.
that I do to be accepted," and I've, like, released a lot of that over the years where I'm just kinda like, "Look," 'cause my friend used to always tell me, "Done is better than perfect. Look, just get it done. It don't have to be perfect." But I'm just like, it needs to look a certain way. It needs to be a certain way, and it's just kinda like, but does it really? Like, does it really? And because I was behind on one of my assignments of something I had to get done because I'm like, "No, I just wanna get it just right." And she, like, literally just reiterated to me yesterday, and she was just like, "A messy start is better than not starting at all." And I was like, "Ooh," it hit me so hard, and I'm like, this is my next iteration of growth. This is the next piece that I need to continue to work on. And like, I thought I was over like the perfectionist mindset, but there's still some residual that's there. And I'm like, and I need to let that go completely. And I was just, even as I thought about it, I was like, ooh, okay, I could do this. Like, I could do this. Like, and I will, because I know that everything that you want is on the other side of like the change. It's on the other side of the discomfort. It's on the other side of the thing that you don't want to do. I have had that experience so many times now in different aspects of my life. So I was like, okay, this is where the lesson is showing up for me. And this is the lesson that I will learn and I will conquer it. And I'm going to like put this class out there. And if, however people receive it or don't receive it, oh well, like, but I'm gonna put it out there.
Of course you are. Have that. How can we stay true to ourselves when we constantly have to compare and compete others? Because our society is built in this way that we always through social media, in life in general, we always feel like we have to compete, and we always compare ourselves, not with our I don't know, our previous version, but with others. Because I think that the only person that we should compete with is ourselves. Like, how much we progress and the changes that we go through. But either we want it or not, we fall victims to that comparison and competition. So how can we change that and start focusing more on ourselves and our progress?
Oh, I love that question so much. And I think too, it starts with starting to reprogram that mindset around comparison and competition. Like I don't believe that I compete with anyone. Like yes, I like today I have two auditions. One that I have to do a self tape for, and then one that I'm doing in person. Like literally when we rap here. And even though yes, there's gonna be a room of other talented actresses who are going to be in that room, going out for that same role. I have come to the belief in my life that what's for me is for me and it can't pass me up. So if
Right.
I get that role is because it was for me. If I don't get that role, it wasn't for me and something even better is going to come to me. And because I have adopted that belief, like so many opportunities like come to me. And I mean, even last week I was up for a role that like the director literally was like, I think you will be great for this. I want you to audition for this role. And I was like, okay, fantastic. So I felt like, wow, that's favor right there that I'm being asked directly from the director,
Yes.
to audition for this role. And then they were like, okay, we're gonna fight for you, with the client, for you to get this role. role. And so I'm like, okay, well, I'm already like, okay, let me pack my bags because like I like this is done. I got this. And then, found out a few days later that it went to somebody else. And
Right.
instead of being like, oh man, like, well, what did I do wrong? Or how did that fall apart? Well, it was just kind of like, okay, that opportunity was meant for her. But that makes me excited because I'm like, ooh, oh my God, something even better is coming my way. Something even better is coming my way.
Mindset, that's so beautiful. That's so beautiful because 'cause I'm an actress as well, and rejection, it's hard to, you know for me, it always was, "Oh, I got rejected, so I did something wrong."
Mm,
Um,
mm.
as years go by, it's easier because you get used to rejection, but, I've talked with other actors as well, and they always say that's the hardest part,
And
uh
and that's why it's so important that especially in this industry because we do a lot of things where we're opening ourselves up to new opportunities. And I think the languaging around things like we have to change that within our own mind. Cuz all I see I go to an audition I'm like, "Oh, I'm getting an opportunity to go and play." Like that's literally all it is. So if I get the role or not, who cares? Like I get an opportunity to go play. And I get paid to play. Like,
Yeah.
what?
Yes, yes.
And so it's like, again, changing our narrative, changing our mindset around this. Like, I don't have to believe what another actor believes about this industry. And because I don't have the same belief as that other person, I'm having a different experience in this industry than that person is having because of my beliefs. Like, I'll give you a great example. So I went, auditioned for Amazon countless times, probably like 10 times. I had auditions for them. I would get the call back. I would get put on a veil and then I would get released. And it's like almost like 10 times. And when I got to the point and I was just like, okay, if this one released, there's something better coming. There's a better one coming. And so when I finally did book Amazon, because I booked it, and I already knew, I was like, and I'm gonna book it, but it's something better. I didn't just book one commercial with them. We did their holiday campaign and we shot 12 commercials for them. And I was like, thank
Alright.
God all of the other stuff released because that would have just been one ad. We got 12 ads across 3 countries. I was like, yes, that was what was for me. Like,
Unbelievable.
yeah,
Unbelievable.
but it's like we have to change this, and everything else will fall into alignment with our beliefs.
Yes, yes. I like
Mhm.
that mentality. So,
Yeah.
so how do you connect to your inner sparkle when, life feels heavy? Like, what are the steps? Because sometimes, as much as you try to remind yourself, and to affirm as much as you can, are there any tools that you can use to to navigate through those tough times?
Absolutely, and like I said, it's not that, like, everything is always, like, sunshine and rainbows. Like,
Of course
um,
not.
we as human beings have speaking about rainbow of available emotions to us. Everything from joy and ecstasy to sadness and bitterness, all of it is a part of the human spectrum of emotions that are available to us. And they're
Mhm,
all there and they all serve a valuable purpose in our lives. So it's not about like, oh, never being sad or never being mad. Like they have their place in their proper proportion in the right circumstances.
mhm,
So like it's okay to not always feel great. Like sometimes that's an indication of, hey, maybe I need to give my body more rest. Maybe I need to
yes,
refocus onto something else. It's
mhm,
everything is information. That's all it is. And so even in times like say, well, I'm feeling like low or I'm just kind of like I'm feeling stuck in some way, some of the tools that I use, one is journaling because sometimes we'll have a lot of thoughts and ideas or situations that haven't quite resolved themselves yet. And we're mulling it inside of ourselves. We're circulating it
yes.
inside of ourselves.
For
And
me,
that
perfectly.
clog,
Journaling
yeah,
is one of the best things for me.
and it can clog the pipe if we don't get it out of ourselves.
Yes.
So writing it down and putting it on paper is a way to release that from your body, release it from your mind, and that helps me significantly is by like journaling. Another thing is movement. Like your body needs to move to get energy moving. And that can also help get some of those feelings, out of you. If you're sitting down in a even this state, like if you're hunched over, that's an energetic signature to your body. That's an energetic signature to feel lower. If you pull your shoulders back, that automatically puts you in a different state of being, a different emotional feeling. So physiology is really important to be able to help regulate emotions as well. So and drinking water. Oh my God, we are 70 or 80% water, so
I'm
we
so
need
glad
to
of that.
replenish that.
I always have to remind myself that I need to drink water. Not
Yes.
no. Eh, w
'Cause,
but
sometimes we need
it's
to, like,
always
wash
warm.
out toxins that are in our body that have gotten in from environmental, influences, and so even that and that can affect our emotions, like, the environment itself. Music is really powerful to be able to help shift, your mindset and shift your emotions.
And
Playing a
instantly, yeah, it's
you
like
know,
it's an instant, shift.
instantly, like, literally instantly.
I think that
Mm.
music is pure magic, it
It
just
it
shifts
is,
your.
'cause it's energy and vibration. And
Yes.
and then when you tap into that energy and vibration, it'll shift you, it'll put you in alignment with that energy and vibration.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So you've received so many awards. Tell me, which recognition meant the most to you and why?
Mm. You know what? I won, a Gold Telly Award for a commercial that I did 2004? Yeah, like, last year. It was last year, wow. Um, and what was so exciting about that award was because when I got the audition for this commercial, the commercial was like a comedic commercial. But when I read the material, what my instincts told me was to do a dramatic read of this. Like I felt it so strongly in myself that it should be like really like almost like theatrical drama.
Mhm.
Even though that is not what was on the paper at all. And I ended up getting a callback, so I was like, "Okay, cool." And I remember being in the callback room, and so, like, the other people who had callbacks were in there, but in the room with the director and the cat and the actual director and the casting director, and the client, I could hear the person who was in there before me, and they were dying laughing. Like, everybody was laughing so hard and so loud, and for an instant, it made me second guess my choices. And it made me think, "Ooh, maybe I should go ahead and just lean towards the comedy or whatever," because I'm
Yeah.
like, "Dang, like they are killing up in there right now." And then my mind went immediately back to trust what came through you. Trust
Mm.
what you felt to be your choice. And so I was like, "All right." So I go into the room. I do a take, and you could hear a pin drop. Like, nobody was saying nothing. Everybody was literally, like, stuck in silence, and in my mind, I was like, "Oh, shit." And then the director was like, "Okay, let's do it again." And then the person who was with him was like, "Do you want her to make any changes?" Blah, blah, blah. He was like, "No." He was like, "Let's do it again." So we did it again, and then when we ran it a third time, he was just like, "Okay, like, just bring it a little, not as deep emotions, like, bring it up a little bit." And I not only ended up booking it, it shifted the trajectory of that
Ye
commercial, like,
yes,
they like, because the director on set told me it changed the whole tone of the commercial, and we won awards for it.
amazing,
So
amazing.
it was like that taught me, like, or reaffirmed to me trust what comes through you. Trust your instincts. It's not about necessarily what's on that page, but what people, when they're bringing you in that room, they're wanting you to show them you and your brilliance, your talent. So bring that to whatever you do.
Yes, beautiful.
Thank
So when all
you.
the titles and achievements fall away, who is Havilah Malone at her core?
Oh my God. I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. I am a piece of divinity here on earth, enjoying and learning and growing and choosing to do this thing called human life. And
Yes.
that's it really is, and here, you know what, and I feel like my journey is about not only my own, experiences and learning to navigate and enjoy and expand in this life, but then taking those lessons and then sharing that with others and leaving a blueprint behind for people to utilize if they so choose or don't utilize if they so choose.
Yes.
But I'm here to be able to give and receive in this life.
Mhm, mhm. And what are you up to now? What are you
Yes, so our new so I just had a spoken word album that released, which is called Proof of What's Possible. It's available on all streaming platforms. It's a call home to self and the power we possess, and it becomes our reminder of that on a consistent basis. And from that album, we actually did a short film that was based off of one of the tracks on the album, and that film called I'm in Love is traveling the world on film festival circuit right now. We
wow, word
yeah,
hearing this, right?
oh my god, like we have won like 6 awards, so far. We just got another selection for the Miss You Film Festival here in Los Angeles. We just got a selection earlier this week for a film festival, the North Film Festival in Barcelona. Like I just got back from the UK when we had a screening and an award nomination. Like it's been so extraordinary. And I feel like just people are ready to hear, to see, to receive things that are uplifting for them, that reaffirm their power and their humanness and the love that is available to us. And so that's the kind of content that I want to continue to create in my next piece of the growth of this is I want to start doing like community events and talkbacks around, the film, and being able to really get into organizations with like women's empowerment organizations, universities, to be able to like have deeper, meaningful conversations around these subjects.
Yes, because people really need that.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
And if you could leave our listeners with one belief to adopt today, that could change the course of their lives, what would it be?
I'll give you the motto that I live by, and it's be proof of what's possible. Any and everything that you want also wants you.
Hmm.
Trust your path forward. Trust your inner voice. There may be voices all around you telling you so many different things, and it's time to quiet down those voices and listen to the one that is coming from within and be proof of what's possible because you can.
Oh, that's so powerful. But I was thinking, how can we distinguish which voice is ours when we have, adopted so many beliefs from other people and so many um sometimes I say that I don't even know if black is my favorite color.
Absolutely. And that takes going into stillness. So
Oh,
I highly recommend meditation. Um, for some people, that meditation means like sitting down in a quiet space and helping like to clear your mind. So to allow, because a lot of times we don't want to sit with ourselves. We'd rather have a radio on, we have a TV on, we have social media playing. We don't want to listen to our own thoughts that are coming up. And so to be able to sit down in silence, in stillness, and listen, and you could ask yourself, like, I am ready to hear my own voice. I am ready to hear my own inner knowing. So please make yourself known to me. Speak to me. And then start asking yourself questions. Is black my favorite color? What is my favorite color?
Yes.
Lights me up. Start to ask yourself that. And that allows you to start to shut out these other influences and voices. And it's so interesting you bring up like favorite color. So for the longest time, my mom would like always buy me like pink stuff. And
Yeah.
so I thought like pink was my favorite color. And then I questioned myself for I was like, wait, hold up. Is that even my favorite color? Like, why do I have all this pink stuff? And I did. I had to sit with myself and I'm like, wait. And I was like, when I was younger, yellow was my favorite color for a while. Orange became my favorite color. And then I was like, you know what? And actually now I do receive the pink. And I enjoy the pink, but I had to differentiate, is this my mother's influence or is this something that I really like? And I was able to make the distinction. No, no, no. I do like this because this lights me up. If I have a variety of things that I can choose from, I will wanna go to the pink one. And I'm like, "Okay, like, that's actually my choice, not what is being, like, just given
Yes.
to me or, like, influenced to me." So, we do have to go back and start asking ourselves these questions and going into silence and listening for the answers because they're there, and that voice will start to get stronger and stronger the more you listen to it and you're obedient to it. It will get stronger.
Yes. So, Havilah, thank you so much for being here. I'm
My
waiting for the Nobel Prize and it's around the corner.
Oh my god, I'm so excited. Look.
And I wish you all the best. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Thank you for everything you shared today. I'm
My
sure
absolute
everyone enjoyed it.
you
And of course, we'll have a second part at some point because I would
mm.
like to explore, more the law of attraction and how it works and how it has worked for you.
Oh my god. I love talking about the 14 universal laws because a lot of people are familiar with the law of attraction, but there are 14 universal laws that all
Wow.
work in harmony with each other and are so powerful. I mean, from the law of cause and effect to the law of action. It's like people talk about the law of attraction. It's like, okay, yes, the law of attraction is in effect, it does work, but then there's also the law of action. So once you ask or call in this thing that you are asking for, sometimes it takes action to actually attain that thing. The law of gender. I mean, there's so many amazing
Oh,
things that
please promise that we're gonna do an episode on
yes, I would love, love, love that. Like I literally will do I've spoken at retreats and things on the 14 universal laws because they're so powerful. And when you understand them, then you can work in harmony with the laws to be able to get the results that you want instead of just being working against them or like being you feel like, oh, life is just throwing me all about. It's like, no, you gotta work in harmony with these laws that are in place.
Oh, so that's a promise, okay?
Yes, I would love it. Look.
Okay. And for all of you out there, remember, ego was here, you are here, and that's enough.